Hey guys, Adam Trigger here, Wager Talk. Welcome to NFL Week 10. And we're going to be talking your NFL Week 10 kickoff Thursday night football, Bears, Panthers from Soldier Field. But first, we have a great special for any of the handicappers at Wager Talk. It's coupon code ALL30. Get you $50 off a 30-day all-access pass. With college basketball starting, I know for me that's going to probably be as good of a value as you're going to get. My volume's always, probably higher than any point in the year when we've got football and college hoop going at the same time. So a lot to get excited about over these next couple months as we look to finish 2023 on a high note. But going back to the football game, Bears, Panthers, it's Thursday night football, the first game of Week 10. You're going to hear a lot about the quarterback probably during the week for the Bears. Is it going to be Fields? Is it going to be Tyson Bagent? I don't think it matters that much, to be honest with you. I don't think Fields is going to play here. I know, at the time of recording this video, we know he was limited in practice on Monday. It's a short week. It just doesn't seem, Bagent hasn't really played that poorly. With the exception of, some turnovers. I don't think he's played that poorly. So I'd be somewhat surprised if the Bears put Fields out there if he wasn't, fully ready to go 100%. Not to mention the Bears have a banged up offensive line. He could be under a little bit of pressure here. The Panthers, one thing they do well is create some pass rush pressure. So I don't know if it's the best scenario to throw Fields back in. Feels to me like he's probably got one more week. And again, Bagent hasn't really beat them. He hasn't been horrible outside of the turnover. So I think the Bears probably roll with him for another week here. And I think the way I would play it, regardless whether who's under center, would be to take the Panthers plus the points. Now, the Panthers, I saved myself a loss last week by sticking to my rule of not betting on Bryce Young. And because if you watch that game, somewhat even game between the Panthers and the Colts, the difference was Bryce Young throwing 2 pick sixes, which turned that game into a Colts sort of blowout, and it really shouldn't have been. And so I'll have to ask myself here, can I break my rule of backing a Bryce Young-led team? In this case, I think I would. I haven't added this as a client play yet, but I'm certainly considering it. And I think that I'm okay with sort of going to battle with Bryce Young here because this should be, listen, if Young can't have a little bit of success and not cost his team a game against the Bears defense right now, he really probably shouldn't be playing in this league, in my opinion. They don't have a pass rush. They don't have much of a secondary. He's going to have time to make throws. This should be as favorable of a matchup for Bryce Young as he's had in recent weeks. Other than, the game that they won a couple weeks ago, which still, I think this would even be arguably like a better matchup for Young. So in this case, I do think I could back him. The Panthers defense has looked much better since getting healthy. The game I escaped me a second ago was the Texans game. They played well there and were able to get their first win of the season. And defensively, they didn't play that poorly last week. Again, just put in a really bad situation by a couple turnovers from the offense. So when I look at this game, I look at the two teams, I don't see a huge difference between the two sides here, Panthers, Bears. I think the perception is that the Bears are the better of these two teams. But, when I look at the quarterbacks next to each other, I as critical as I've been of Bryce Young, I don't think Tyson Bagent is better per se. I think what we have here is Young has underachieved based on these very lofty expectations of where he got drafted, and Bagent kind of had some flashes of looking pretty good, and he's a guy that comes from D2 that no one expected anything from, and so he's been praised for sort of having a good game in the win over the Raiders, who were a mess that week. But outside of that, I don't think Bagent's really been better than Young. I would say they're probably even. And all things considered here, I think I just like this Panthers team more right now with how their defense is coming along, getting healthy, so on and so forth. So 3.5 is what I'm seeing at this point. I would take that. I think if somehow Fields played, I think it would probably just go back to 3. I'm sorry, probably go up to maybe 4. And if he gets ruled out completely, probably goes back to 3. So you'll want to try to get yourself the hook here if you want the Panthers. That's how I would play it. I like the Panthers just as a team better than I like the Bears. And so on these Thursday night games that tend to be a little, wacky with some of their results, give me the key number of 3.5, and I'll hope that the Panthers can get it home. If you're liking the free picks, please subscribe to our channel. Click on the other links on your screen, and we'll be bringing you more free NFL and college football picks all season long. Again, use that coupon code ALL30, preferably for my service, especially if you like college hoops, as I was #1 at Wager Talk last year, and we are in full force in non-conference play right now. But regardless, head on over to Wager Talk and use that ALL30 coupon on one of the great cappers on the site. Let's cash some tickets and good luck in the NFL this week.